She collapsed at the hospital 3 hours before my wedding. Stage 4 cancer, 6 months to live. My fiancé was sobbing. His whole family was devastated. And I was standing there in my bathrobe, watching my perfect day disappear. But something felt wrong, too perfect. And when I uncovered the truth, she lost everything. This is that story. Okay, so let me take you back. 2 years before all of this chaos. That's when I met him, Jake. God, he was perfect. I know, everyone says that, but he opened car doors. He remembered my coffee order. He actually listened when I talked about my day. You know, the little things. We met at a friend's barbecue. I was wearing this ridiculous floral dress because I'd come straight from a baby shower, and he told me I looked like a garden he wanted to get lost in. Cheesy, right? But it worked. 3 months of dating, and I was completely gone, head over heels. The kind of love where you start imagining baby names and what your kitchen would look like. And he felt the same way. He introduced me to his friends, his dad, his sister. Everyone loved us together. We were that couple, the one everyone else is kind of jealous of. And then I met her, Patricia, his mother. Now, at first, she seemed fine, a little formal, maybe, cold handshake instead of a hug, but I thought, some people are just reserved. Some moms are protective of their sons. I tried so hard to win her over. I brought her flowers when we visited, I complimented her home, and oh my God, her home. This massive house in the suburbs, everything white and beige and perfectly arranged like a magazine spread, the kind of place where you're afraid to sit on the furniture. I asked her about her interests, I offered to help cook, I even sat through her 2-hour slideshow about her European vacation. Twice. But nothing worked. She'd smile, this tight, thin smile that never reached her eyes, and then she'd say things like, "Oh, that's an interesting career choice," when I talked about being a teacher. Or, "Jake's ex-girlfriend was a lawyer, so accomplished." Every single visit. Jake would tell me I was imagining it. "She's just adjusting," he'd say. "Give her time." So I gave her time. Fast forward to 8 months ago. Jake proposed, and oh my God, it was perfect. Sunset on the beach, down on one knee, the whole thing. I was crying so hard I couldn't even say yes at first. I just nodded like a crazy person. We called his family right away. His dad was thrilled, his sister screamed so loud we had to pull the phone away from our ears. And Patricia? She said, "Well, I suppose congratulations are in order." Then she hung up. But I was so happy I didn't even care. I thought, okay, she'll come around. Once she sees how happy Jake is, once we're actually family, it'll be different. God, I was so stupid. We set the date. 6 months out, spring wedding. I'd been dreaming about my wedding since I was 8. You know that feeling? The dress, the flowers, the first dance. We booked this beautiful venue, an old estate with gardens and string lights and this gorgeous gazebo. I found my dress at this little boutique, lace and tulle, and it was everything. My bridesmaids were amazing. My mom was crying happy tears every time we talked about it. Even Jake's dad offered to help pay for the band because he said he'd never seen his son this happy. For 5.5 months, it was perfect. And then Patricia started her campaign. It started small. So small I almost didn't notice. 3 months before the wedding, she started calling Jake. Not texting, calling. Multiple times a day. And when he wouldn't answer, she'd call me. "Oh, I just wanted to check on my baby boy. Make sure he's eating right. You are feeding him properly, aren't you?" Like I was his maid or something. Then came the wedding planning interference. She'd call vendors, my vendors, and try to change things. The florist called me, totally confused because Patricia had tried to swap my peonies for white roses. "They're more elegant," she told me later. "I was just trying to help." She critiqued my dress, told me it was a bit much for a casual wedding. Mind you, our wedding was black tie optional. There was nothing casual about it. She questioned our menu, our music choices. She even, and I swear I'm not making this up, she suggested we should reconsider having children right away because you'll want to focus on making Jake happy first. I was livid, but Jake, he kept defending her. She's just stressed about losing me, he'd say. Only child syndrome. She'll calm down. Narrator, she did not calm down. 2 months before the wedding, she showed up at my bridal shower, uninvited. My maid of honor had specifically made it bride's family and friends only because we knew Patricia would make it weird, but she came anyway, walked in with this massive gift bag and a smile that made my skin crawl. Everyone got quiet. You could feel the tension. And she sat down right in the middle of my friends and started telling stories about Jake's ex-girlfriends, how wonderful they were, how accomplished, how one of them was a brain surgeon now. My mom's face, I thought she was going to throw Patricia out herself, but I kept it together. I smiled. I thanked her for the gift, which was a cookbook, by the way, essential skills for newlyweds. I wanted to cry, but I didn't. I wouldn't give her the satisfaction. 1 month out, things escalated. She started telling Jake's family members not to come, said we were scaling back and doing a small, intimate ceremony now. We found out when his aunt called to ask if we were okay. Apparently, Patricia had told her we were having financial difficulties and were embarrassed about a big wedding. Lies, all of it. Jake finally confronted her. I was there. We went to her house, sat her down, and he told her she needed to stop. And you know what she did? She cried, sobbed about how she was losing her baby boy and how I was taking him away from her and how she just wanted to be included. Jake melted. Of course he did. It's his mom. She apologized to me, hugged me, told me she was so sorry and that she was just emotional about the wedding. I didn't believe her. Something in her eyes, it was cold, empty. But what could I do? We were 3 weeks out, invitations sent, deposits paid. I just wanted to get through it. Final dress fitting, she showed up, uninvited, told the seamstress my alterations were unflattering. Rehearsal dinner, she tried to seat herself next to Jake at the head table, where I was supposed to sit. My breaking point came 1 week before the wedding. We were doing final vendor confirmations. I was exhausted, teaching full-time, planning a wedding, dealing with her insanity. Jake and I had just finished a call with the DJ when my phone rang. It was the venue coordinator. Patricia had called them and tried to cancel our wedding, said there was a family emergency and we needed to postpone indefinitely. Thankfully, the coordinator knew better than to take orders from anyone but me or Jake. But can you imagine? She tried to cancel my wedding. I called her immediately. Patricia, what the hell? Oh, sweetie, I was just trying to help. You both seem so stressed. I thought maybe you needed more time. We don't need more time. We need you to stop. Well, if that's how you're going to speak to your future mother-in-law, perhaps Jake should know what kind of woman he's really marrying. And she hung up on me. I sat there, staring at my phone, shaking, not from fear, from rage. This woman was trying to destroy the happiest day of my life, and she wasn't even hiding it anymore. Jake was furious when I told him. He called her. They fought. She cried again, said I was manipulating him against her, but this time he didn't fall for it. Mom, if you pull anything at the wedding, you're done. I mean it. She went quiet, said she understood, said she'd behave. I should have known better. The week before the wedding was chaos. Normal wedding chaos, though. Seating charts, last-minute RSVPs, making sure my idiot cousin wasn't seated near the open bar. Patricia went silent. No calls, no visits, nothing. Jake thought she'd finally accepted it. I thought she was planning something. I was right. The morning of my wedding, I woke up to sun streaming through the window of the bridal suite. My bridesmaids were already there. Mimosas, breakfast, so much giggling. My mom kept tearing up every time she looked at me. I felt like a princess. Hair and makeup were perfect. My dress fit like a dream. Everything was perfect. We had 3 hours until the ceremony. I was sipping champagne, laughing with my best friend, when my phone rang. Jake's dad. Hey, aren't you supposed to be getting ready? Honey, I need you to stay calm. My stomach dropped. My hands went cold. What happened? Is Jake okay? Jake's fine, but Patricia just told the family she has cancer, stage 4. She collapsed at home this morning. We're at the hospital. Everything stopped. The room went silent. My bridesmaids were staring at me. What do you mean, cancer? She never said. She says she didn't want to ruin the wedding, but she collapsed, and the doctors are saying she has 6 months, maybe less. My mind was racing. 6 months? Stage 4? How was this possible? Where's Jake? He's with her. He's devastated. He's saying you guys need to postpone. Postpone? The wedding. My wedding. I'll be right there. I hung up. My bridesmaids were already moving, grabbing my dress bag, my shoes, keys. My mom grabbed my shoulders. Sweetheart, breathe. But I couldn't. My heart was pounding. My hands were shaking so bad I dropped my champagne glass. It shattered on the floor. We have to go. We have to. Jake needs me. We drove to the hospital. I was still in my robe, hair half done, makeup running because I was crying. Not for Patricia, for Jake, for us, for everything that was falling apart. When I got there, the waiting room was full. Jake's entire family. Aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone crying, hugging, talking in hushed voices. And there was Jake, sitting in the corner, head in his hands. Jake! He looked up. His eyes were destroyed, red, swollen, broken. He stood up and I ran to him. We held each other and he sobbed into my shoulder. She's dying. My mom is dying. I didn't know what to say. What could I say? His sister came over. The doctor says she's stable for now, but it's bad, really bad. Can we see her? She's asking for Jake, only Jake. Of course, only Jake. He went in. I sat there with his family in my braid robe while everyone whispered about how tragic this was, how awful the timing was. And something felt wrong. Stage 4 cancer doesn't just appear. There are symptoms, doctor's appointments. She'd been perfectly fine harassing me for months. When was she diagnosed? Why didn't anyone know? Why didn't Jake know? But everyone around me seemed to believe it. They were talking about treatment options, praying, making plans to help care for her. I felt like I was going crazy, like I was the only one who thought this was suspicious. Jake came out 20 minutes later. His face was empty. We need to cancel the wedding. What? She's so sick. The doctors say stress could kill her faster. I can't get married while my mom is dying. Jake! I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but we have to postpone. We'll do it later, I promise. But right now, I need to be with my mom. And he walked away, left me standing there in a braid robe in a hospital on what was supposed to be my wedding day. I stood there frozen. Everyone was moving around me. Jake's family hugging each other, his dad on the phone canceling things, his sister crying, and I needed air. I walked down the hallway, found a quiet corner near the vending machines, leaned against the wall, and tried to breathe. That's when I heard it. Excuse me? I looked up. There was a nurse standing there, young, maybe mid-20s. She looked nervous, scared even. Are you Jake's fiancé? Yes. Why? She glanced around, made sure no one was nearby. I I need to talk to you, but you can't tell anyone I said anything. I could lose my job. My heart started pounding. What is it? The woman who came in this morning, Patricia? Yes. She doesn't have cancer. Time stopped. What? There's no cancer, no diagnosis, nothing. She came in complaining of chest pains and anxiety. We ran tests. Everything came back normal. I couldn't breathe. Then why is everyone saying she's dying? The nurse looked absolutely terrified now. Because the doctor who treated her, Dr. Morrison, she's Patricia's old friend. They went to high school together, still have lunch sometimes. Oh my God. And the doctor, she agreed? Dr. Morrison tried to say no at first, but Patricia, she was crying, begging, said her son was making a terrible mistake and she just needed to stop the wedding, that she'd explain everything to the family later. I felt like I was going crazy. I felt like I was going to throw up. The doctor eventually agreed to tell the family that Patricia had cancer, that she'd keep up the story for a few days, give Patricia time to come clean on her own terms. But what? But I don't think Patricia plans to come clean. I think she's going to keep this going as long as she can. My hands were shaking. Why are you telling me this? The nurse's eyes filled with tears. Because I have a little sister, and if someone did this to her wedding day, I'd want someone to tell me the truth. This is wrong. This is so, so wrong. Can you testify to this? Go on record? She shook her head frantically. I can't. If anyone finds out I told you, I'll be fired. Maybe lose my license. Dr. Morrison is senior staff here. She has connections. And technically, nothing illegal happened. She didn't file false medical records. She just verbally told the family a diagnosis. So she's going to get away with this? Not if you're smart about it. The nurse pulled out her phone. I can't go on record, but I can give you enough information to prove it yourself. She showed me her screen. Patricia's patient file. See? Admitted at 7:48 a.m. Chief complaint, anxiety and chest pains. All tests normal. Discharged at 9:15 a.m. with anxiety medication. No oncology consult, no cancer diagnosis, nothing. Can you send me this? I can't. That's a HIPAA violation. But Dr. Morrison keeps a calendar. She's meticulous about it. If you can somehow access her calendar, you'll find all her lunch dates with Patricia going back years. It'll show they're friends. That'll help prove this wasn't just a random doctor doing a favor. This was planned. How do I access her calendar? She keeps it on her desk, office 304, third floor. She's in surgery right now for the next 2 hours. This was insane. This was absolutely insane. There's something else, the nurse said. Patricia asked Dr. Morrison to write her a prescription for anti-nausea medication to make it look real. But Dr. Morrison refused to put it in the system. She gave Patricia some samples from the medicine closet. Instead, if you can find those samples, they won't be traceable to any real diagnosis. Where would Patricia keep them? Check her purse. She had a big black designer bag, kept it with her the whole time. The nurse looked at her watch. I have to go. My supervisor will notice I'm gone. Please, please don't tell anyone we talked. I have student loans. I can't lose this job. I won't, I promise. And thank you. Seriously, thank you. She nodded and hurried away. I stood there in that hallway, my mind racing 1,000,000 miles an hour. Patricia had faked everything. The collapse, the diagnosis, everything. And she'd convinced a doctor to lie to her own family. I needed proof, real, undeniable proof that I could use to expose her without putting that nurse in danger. I walked back to the waiting room, forced myself to look calm. Jake was talking to his dad, planning how to care for Patricia, how to handle her treatments. Jake, I said softly, I'm going to head home, start making calls to cancel things. He looked at me with those broken eyes. I'm so sorry. I love you so much. I know. I love you too. I'll handle everything. You stay with your family. I kissed his cheek and left. But I didn't go home. I went to the hospital cafeteria, got a coffee, sat down, and I planned. Step 1. Get into Dr. Morrison's office. I waited until the second-floor hallways quieted down. Late afternoon, shift change, chaos. I walked up to the third floor like I belonged there. Confidence is key. If you act like you're supposed to be somewhere, people rarely question it. Office 304. The door was unlocked. I slipped inside, closed the door behind me. Dr. Morrison's office was exactly what you'd expect. Diplomas on the wall, medical journals stacked neatly, photos of her family. And there, on her desk, was her planner. I pulled out my phone and started photographing pages. Lunch dates with Patricia, P, lunch 1 p.m., coffee with P, 10 a.m., going back years, dozens of meetings. This proved they were friends, close friends. Then I found something even better, a sticky note tucked into last week's page. Patricia, favor, tell family stage 4, keep story few days. In Dr. Morrison's own handwriting. I photographed it. My hands were shaking so badly I had to take 3 pictures to get one that wasn't blurry. Step 2. Patricia's purse. Getting back to the emergency department was easier. I knew which room she'd been in. The nurse had pointed it out. She wasn't there. Jake had probably taken her home by now. But her purse. I checked the lost and found. Nothing. I asked a different nurse. Excuse me, did anyone turn in a black designer purse? I think my aunt left hers here. Oh, yes, hold on. She disappeared into a back room and came out with Patricia's bag. I'll make sure she gets it, I said, smiling sweetly. The nurse handed it over without a second thought. I took it to the bathroom, locked myself in a stall, and there they were, sample packets of anti-nausea medication, the kind they give to chemo patients, but no prescription, no pharmacy label, nothing official. I photographed everything, the medication, the packaging, everything. Then I put it all back and returned the purse to Lost and Found. Actually, I'll just have her pick it up herself, I told the nurse. I forgot I'm not headed that direction. Step 3. Medical records. I couldn't get Patricia's actual medical file. That would require breaking laws I wasn't willing to break. But I could get proof she'd never been treated by an oncologist. I called the hospital's main oncology department from my car. Hi, I'm calling to confirm an appointment for Patricia Dawson. Her family said she'd been seeing Dr. I'm sorry, which oncologist is she with? The receptionist typed. I don't see a Patricia Dawson in our system at all. Really? She was just diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. If she was diagnosed here, she'd be in our system. Let me check with other departments. More typing. No, ma'am. No Patricia Dawson anywhere in our cancer treatment programs. Thank you. I recorded that phone call. Every word. I had everything I needed. The doctor's notes proving their friendship, the medication samples, the phone call confirming no cancer treatment. But I needed more. I needed Patricia to expose herself in front of everyone with no way to lie her way out. So I planned an event. But not the event I originally told you about. That would come later. First, I needed to play the part of the devoted, understanding daughter-in-law. For 2 weeks, I was perfect. I brought Patricia meals, sat with her, asked about her symptoms, took notes on every lie she told. She told me she was having night sweats, nausea, fatigue. I documented everything. I also started mentioning casually how much I wanted to support her through this. Patricia, I've been thinking, we should do something special, a fundraiser for cancer research in your name, to honor your battle. Her eyes lit up, the attention, the martyrdom, she loved it. Oh, sweetie, that's too much. No, I insist. You're going to beat this and we're going to celebrate by helping others. Jake thought I was being incredibly gracious. His whole family did. They had no idea. I booked a venue, invited everyone. Her church group, her friends, her entire extended family. Jake's family, my family, everyone. 75 people. I made programs, created a slideshow, set up a donation table for cancer research, and I prepared my evidence. Everything. The photos of Dr. Morrison's calendar, the recorded phone calls, the medication samples, the oncology department confirmation. I even did something else, something risky. I contacted a medical ethics board member anonymously, explained that a doctor at the hospital had falsified a diagnosis as a personal favor. I didn't name names yet, but I laid the groundwork. The night before the event, I couldn't sleep, because this wasn't just about exposing Patricia anymore. It was about exposing Dr. Morrison too, a doctor who had violated every ethical standard to help her friend manipulate a family. If I did this right, they'd both go down. The day of the event, Patricia arrived like a queen, headscarf covering her perfectly healthy hair, pale makeup, moving slowly. Jake was by her side, devoted, heartbroken, believing every lie. I stood at the front of the room and smiled. Thank you all so much for coming. Patricia means so much to so many people, and I wanted us all to come together to honor her strength as she fights this battle. Everyone clapped. Patricia dabbed at her eyes. Patricia, would you like to say a few words? Tell everyone about your journey? This was the trap. Get her to lie, in front of everyone, on camera. Because yes, I was recording everything. Patricia stood, slowly, dramatically. Thank you all for being here. This has been the hardest time of my life. When Dr. Morrison told me I had stage 4 cancer, I didn't know how I'd find the strength to go on. I watched Jake's face. He was crying. But my family, my beautiful son, they've given me a reason to fight, and I will fight, every day, for as long as I have left. People were sobbing, hugging each other, and I stood there, calm, collected. Patricia, that's so beautiful. You're so brave. Tell me, how many chemo treatments have you had so far? She faltered, just for a second. 2. 2 treatments. And where are you receiving treatment? At Mercy General. I nodded, pulled out my phone. That's interesting, because I called Mercy General's oncology department. They have no record of you as a patient. The room went quiet. I must have made a mistake. I also called this hospital's oncology department. No record there either. Patricia's face went white. You're confused, sweetie. It's complicated medical stuff. Is it complicated that Dr. Morrison, who diagnosed you, is your close personal friend? That you've had lunch with her dozens of times over the past 5 years? I projected the calendar photos onto the screen behind me. Gasps, whispers. Is it complicated that this sticky note in Dr. Morrison's handwriting says, Patricia, favor, tell family stage 4, keep story few days? The note appeared on the screen. Patricia tried to speak. Nothing came out. Is it complicated that you were admitted to the emergency room on my wedding day for anxiety, not cancer? That every test came back normal? Jake stood up. What are you talking about? I looked at him, my heart breaking for him all over again. Your mother doesn't have cancer, Jake. She never did. She faked it to stop our wedding, and she convinced her doctor friend to lie to all of you. That's not true. She's lying. But I wasn't done. I played the recorded phone call, Patricia's voice, admitting Dr. Morrison was her friend. I showed the photos of the medication samples, explained they weren't traceable to any real prescription. And then I showed them one more thing, a statement from the Medical Ethics Board, confirming they were investigating Dr. Morrison for falsifying a diagnosis. Because yes, I'd filed that complaint, with names this time, that morning. Patricia collapsed back into her chair, not dramatically, not for show. She just crumpled. The room erupted.
Jake walked up to his mother, and I saw something in his eyes I'd never seen before. Pure, cold rage. Tell me it's not true. Patricia's mouth opened, closed, opened again. Jake, sweetie, it's not what it looks like. Tell me, right now, do you have cancer? Silence. Do you have cancer? No, but I did it for you. He stepped back like she'd slapped him. You did this to me. You made me cancel my wedding. You made me think I was losing my mother. You made her, he pointed at me, voice breaking, cancel everything she'd dreamed about because I thought you were dying. I was protecting you. From what? From being happy? Patricia tried to stand, tried to reach for him. He moved away. Don't you ever touch me again. His dad was staring at Patricia like he'd never seen her before. You brought me to a hospital on my son's wedding day, made me think my ex-wife was dying, made me comfort my son while he sobbed, and it was all a lie? His sister was crying. Mom, how could you? But Patricia wasn't done. She turned on me, eyes full of venom. You ruined everything. You never deserved him. I was trying to save my son from making the biggest mistake of his life. The only mistake, Jake said quietly, was ever believing you loved me more than you loved controlling me. The room was dead silent. I'm done. We're done. I don't want to see you. I don't want to hear from you. You don't get to be part of my life anymore. Jake, please. And Dr. Morrison, I said, loud enough for everyone to hear, she's under investigation now. The medical board is reviewing her license. You didn't just destroy one life, you put her entire career at risk for your lies. Patricia's face went from white to gray, because she hadn't thought about that, about her favor could ruin her friend. This was recorded, I gestured to the cameras I'd set up. Everything you said tonight. The ethics board will see it. The hospital administration will see it. Everyone will know what you did. People were already leaving, walking on her. Her church group, her friends, everyone. Within 5 minutes, the room was empty except for Jake, me, his dad, and Patricia. Patricia sat there in her ridiculous headscarf, the perfect picture of fake illness, completely exposed. You should go, Jake's dad said, and maybe think about finding a good lawyer, because Dr. Morrison, she might sue you for ruining her career. I hadn't even thought of that, but he was right. Patricia stood, ripped off the headscarf, and walked out. We stood there in silence for a long time. Then Jake turned to me. I am so sorry. Don't apologize for her. I should have believed you when you said something was wrong. I should have trusted your instincts. You loved your mom. That's not something to apologize for. He pulled me into his arms, and we just held each other. His dad cleared his throat. For what it's worth, I'll be getting that marriage license back from the county clerk. You two deserve your wedding, the real one, with no interruptions. I started crying, happy tears this time. Thank you. And his dad added, I'll be paying for the whole thing. New venue, new date, whatever you want. Consider it my apology for not seeing who Patricia really was. The fallout was even worse than I'd imagined. Dr. Morrison lost her medical license permanently. The medical board didn't mess around with ethics violations. She tried to claim Patricia had manipulated her, that she'd felt pressured. But the evidence was clear. The calendar, the note, the fake diagnosis. She'd made a choice, and she paid for it. Patricia became a pariah. Her church expelled her, her friends blocked her, even her own sister stopped speaking to her. The local news covered it. Doctor loses license after fake cancer diagnosis scandal. It went viral. Millions of views. Comments pouring in. This is absolutely insane. The mother-in-law from hell. I hope that bride gets her dream wedding. Patricia tried to do damage control, posted on Facebook about misunderstandings and how she'd been going through a mental health crisis. Nobody cared. She'd cried wolf, and she'd done it with the most serious illness imaginable. Jake cut off contact completely. blocked her on everything. His dad filed for divorce. Turned out this wasn't the first time she'd pulled something manipulative, just the first time she'd gone this far. His sister wrote her one text, "You're dead to me." And me? I felt free. For months, I'd been walking on eggshells around this woman, trying to be good enough, trying to earn her approval. And now I didn't have to. She was gone, out of our lives, forever. We got married 3 months later. Same venue, same dress, same everything. Except this time, no Patricia. The weather was perfect. My dress fit beautifully. Our families were there. Everyone who actually loved us. Jake cried when he saw me walk down the aisle. Happy tears. His dad walked me down the aisle with my own dad. It was his way of showing he was truly on our side. And when the officiant said, "You may kiss the bride," everyone cheered because they knew what we'd been through. They knew what this moment meant. At the reception, Jake's aunt gave a speech. True love isn't just about the good times. It's about surviving the battles together. These two are warriors. I ugly cried into my champagne. We honeymooned in Greece, 2 weeks of beaches and wine, and finally being able to relax. It was perfect. So what did I learn from all this? Trust your instincts. I knew something was wrong with Patricia from day one. I felt it, but I ignored it because I wanted peace. Don't ignore red flags. They're red for a reason. Ask questions. When something doesn't make sense, dig deeper. That nurse at the hospital, she was my angel, but I wouldn't have learned the truth if I hadn't been paying attention. Document everything. Evidence is power. Without those photos, those recordings, that proof, Patricia might have gotten away with it. Stand up for yourself. I spent so long trying to please Patricia, trying to be good enough. But you know what? Some people will never think you're good enough, and that's their problem, not yours. Protect the innocent. That nurse could have lost everything by telling me the truth. I made sure to keep her name out of it. When people help you, protect them. And finally, the truth is the best revenge. I didn't have to lie. I didn't have to exaggerate. I just showed everyone exactly who Patricia was, and that was enough. Quick update on where everyone is now. Jake and I just celebrated our 1st anniversary. We're genuinely happy, building a life together without toxic interference. Patricia tried reaching out a few times. Birthday cards, holiday texts. Jake doesn't respond. I don't think he ever will. His dad remarried, a kind woman who welcomed me with open arms from day one. It's amazing what a difference that makes. Dr. Morrison, last I heard, she was working as a medical consultant, no patient care. Her career in medicine was over. I almost felt bad, almost. But then I remembered she chose to lie. She chose to help Patricia destroy my wedding day. She chose to betray the trust her patients put in her. Actions have consequences. And me? I'm teaching, living my life. No more drama, no more toxic family members. Turns out when you remove the poison from your life, everything else grows beautifully. So what would you have done? If someone faked cancer to ruin your wedding, how far would you go? Let me know in the comments. Share your own crazy mother-in-law stories. I want to hear them. And if you enjoyed this story, or if you're just here for the absolute insanity of it all, hit that like button and subscribe, because trust me, I've got more stories, so many more stories. Thanks for watching, and remember, never let anyone steal your happiness, not even family, especially not family.